How do you know that you know something? How do you know that you're here? Can you prove that this lectern exists? Can you even prove that you exist? We have the basis of modern philosophy. This starts with a man named René Descartes. Some of you may know of him because of the Cartesian doubt or because of algebra. As a mathematician, he contributed so much to algebra. What I remember most is the x, y, and sometimes z axis. Descartes wrote a book called Meditations. And this was broken down into 5 different parts. And he talks about how you can build up certainty. How do you know that you know something? He says, in order to know something, you must first doubt it. And whatever stands to doubt is something that you can claim to know. So he begins, and he starts with this candle. He says, it looks solid, but when I touch it, it's not solid. It changes its shape. In essence, he starts saying, how do you trust your senses? Can we trust our senses? Are they deceiving us? This is one of the first levels of his doubt. We are often susceptible to error. We think that we see something, we think that we hear something, we think that we feel something or smell something, and oftentimes we dream, we hallucinate. We are under a lot of misapprehensions throughout our lives. We think we see a certain color and it's actually not that color. I think magenta is actually a figment of our imagination. Magenta doesn't actually exist. So, where does he go from here? If he starts doubting the senses, what is there to know? If you don't know that you are here in this room, if you don't know that you are interacting with someone who actually exists, that your body exists, that you exist, where can you go from there? He comes up with this revolutionary thought. He says, well, I am something thinking. To think, I have to be something. I think, therefore I am. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that. In Latin, it's cogito ergo sum. So you can postulate that you exist because you have to exist to think. To go beyond that, to say that you are experiencing something. How do you know what your experience is? You can prove that you exist, but how do you know that you're not in the Matrix? Or that some evil demonic force is possessing you or making you think that you are experiencing reality when there is in fact no reality at all? These are levels of doubt that begin modern philosophy with Descartes, and it gets carried on with Spinoza, and then we get on to empiricism. Before we begin empiricism, we have to understand that this is a retort to rationalism. Rationalism is the idea that Descartes had developed. He said that in order for us to know something, all we can know is a priori concepts. Which means that all we can know are concepts that are given to us before sense experience. That the things that you learn from your sense experience are not knowledge. Knowledge is only attained by reason. For example, I could tell you that 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 1 plus 3 is 4. And just from those few examples, you can come up with any arithmetic that you want, conceivable. You can add 101 to 1009. You don't need to experience those numbers to know how to add those numbers together. Now, we can think of these numbers by their names, but it doesn't matter what their names are, because you have to experience the name to identify it. But you can call 5 yellow. It doesn't change the numerical value. I'm talking about numerical values, and sometimes people get that confused. They think you have to hear the name of the number to know how to assign that number. But you have a concept of that number regardless of what you call it. And you can do any amount of things with those numbers, and those interactions with numbers do not rely on any sense, perception of any kind. They're all within your head. And Descartes argued that that is the only way you can learn anything. In retort, we have John Locke. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of John Locke. He's one of the greatest influences on the Constitution. He's a great thinker. And he says that, nope, we all start off as a tabula rasa, which is a blank slate. And the only way we learn things is through experience. This is the great debate between modern philosophy, empiricism versus rationalism. How do you know that you know something? This is a very on-the-surface description, and I encourage you to pursue this. Read everything from Descartes to Spinoza to Jean Locke to Gottfried Leibniz and to Berkeley. Great writers, great thinkers, give you a lot to think about. What I want you to think about, though, is how do you know that you know? Thank you.